Hi. Today I am doing a little experiment. My friends and I have been playing around with creating our own keys and also creating a key to give out to the world, to people that resonate with us. And I wanted to see, because one of my friends asked me to see how their key felt in my body and the information that I received. And I also know that the key that I was recently gifted, conjured through the Akashic Records is very different than the key that I learned with. And it feels different in my body, and it feels like the information sort of comes in and settles differently. And of course, well, maybe not of course, maybe it's not obvious, but I think we can sort of compare it to a song and how a song resonates with us or doesn't. So different keys and different phrases and words that we may use to put together with an intention create different frequencies in our body, because they have a frequency, we have a frequency, and how those combine just creates a different sort of communication. And I also think that we don't need a key at all, because that's my experience. I often don't use a key to open the records, but sometimes I feel like it's a really nice starting place to just get my attention and energy focused on what I'm doing and really be very intentional and present with going into the space of the Akashic Records. So, with that said, I'm going to use 3 different keys, and I'm going to ask the same question for each one. And my intention is just to get a short answer to see if the information comes through differently or feels different when it comes through, or if a completely different message comes from each key. So I really want you to do this with me. So say it out loud. If you need to mute me so that you can do it on your own, pause the video and mute and open your own records. I really encourage you to do that, because this is how we learn. This is how we figure it out for ourselves. And I do feel like sometimes the energy can be amplified when we're doing it together with the same intention. So just to let you know, what my question is going to be is, what is in my highest good for me to know today to move forward on my soul's path? It's very broad, it's very general, and we'll just see what comes through. So the first key that I'm using is the key to your soul, and it is put out for free by Laura Coe through her Little Soul School. And I really encourage you to go to her website and do her, she has maybe like 5 little short free video trainings, and especially if you're very new to the Akashic Records, it's a great introduction. And she puts it out for free, so, you know, yay, free stuff. Okay, so this is her key. Sorry, I'm going to close my door because the dog might come in. I prefer not to be interrupted by jumping dog. Okay, so there's an opening and a closing for each of these keys. One to open the record, a first part to open the records, and then when we're done with the reading, to close the records. And I do read the keys out loud generally. Some people say that it creates a different resonance for you to actually see the words with your eyes and to speak the words aloud. So I find that it works whether you say it to yourself or out loud, but you choose which works best for you. And obviously in a different situation, maybe you don't want to say it out loud. You want to open the records quietly, silently to yourself somewhere in a public place. Totally fine. It seems to work. Okay. And so we open ourselves to the light. And with this light, we open ourselves to our truth. And with this light, we open ourselves to our soul's purpose. And with this light, we open ourselves to be guided towards our highest good and the highest good of those we love. And so Jamie is given the truth to best serve her on her healing journey into the love and acceptance that is most beneficial for her in this moment. And with this light and guidance, we unlock the energy field of Jamie to receive the record of her soul. So as usual, when I open this key by Laura Coe, I feel the energy mostly in my head, kind of like a swirly, not really spinny feeling, but like a lightness, or sometimes even like a tingling in the upper part of my head, or swimming around in my head. And that is what I'm feeling today, subtly. And that's all I'm noticing at the moment. So I'm going to ask my question: what is in my highest good for me to know today to move forward on my soul's path? So what they're showing me, and I'm getting an image, and I'm feeling almost like the image is in, it's like I'm seeing the image in my heart space, if that makes sense. Like, yes, it's in my mind's eye, but it's also in this upper chest area is where I'm sort of sensing this picture taking place. And it's me, actually, as a younger version of myself, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old, walking along this brick path in, it's hard to tell where it's at. It's a little bit of a grassy edge on the side of the path. And I have my like little kid shoes on and a dress and tights like we used to wear when we were little, like going somewhere kind of special. And I'm just, it's like I've picked some flowers and I'm holding the flowers in my hand, and one hand has the flowers and the other hand is holding on to what feels like my mom. And I'm sort of wanting to run ahead and just be a kid, frolic and play and go pick some more flowers, but I feel almost like a duty to stay there and hold on to my mom's hand. Kind of like I know my mom wants me there and finds comfort with me there by her side, but the the little kid in me just wants to go run and play. And so when I say that, I feel this energy moving up into my head again, but this time it's more of a tension and almost a little bit headachy in the top of my head. And it's like this is mental energy grappling inside of me with these two mixed feelings that I'm having of wanting to stay by my mom's side, but also wanting to run and play and do my own thing. So what is the guidance for me in this situation? This is it's a little bit difficult for me to understand what's happening, but it feels like when I asked that question, I sort of became the adult. I became my mom in a sense. Can you please explain better what does this mean? Coming into an adult. I'm getting a sense of peacefulness as an adult version of myself, and it's also a feeling of understanding. So what is this peacefulness and what is this understanding? They're giving me this sensation of like something detaching from me, behind me, like kind of like my body splitting into two parts, creating this separation between my adult body and my mom's body. And essentially me making the decision as an adult to move forward with a sense of peace and sort of gifting or leaving a feeling of understanding for my mom, like leaving it with that split for her to either accept or not accept. Okay, I feel like this is a pretty clear picture for me. And I'm just gonna finish this was super short reading. I normally would continue to go further, but see if there's just anything else they want to let me know before I close today. They're showing me the little girl version of myself. It's like I'm driving a little toy car or a little kid's car in the sand in circles, and I'm just spinning my wheels, not really going anywhere. And that not going anywhere, not making a decision, is creating this energy that's just building and building and building in one place. What is that energy doing? What does that mean? Why is this important? It's important because the more I stay in place, the energy like goes down into the ground, like digs a hole, and makes it even harder to move forward. And it's shown that I've created these little pockets in the past, and like I'll create this little pocket of, we'll say, stagnation, or like feeling like I'm in one place, and then I'll move a little further and do another little pocket, and so it's like it's showing me on the path behind me is kind of these little pockmarked areas of where I've done this in the past. And my little car and me want to like step on the gas and just spin out and just weave in and out, and just, I mean, it's kind of a little bit reckless down the trail, but down the path, but it's this sense of just having a ton of forward momentum, and it being a little bit precarious at the beginning, like trying to get a hold of it, trying to sort of figure out where, or like how to control it, you know, when you like you're going in circles and all of a sudden you just have this full straight line and a ton of power in your little car, and you're like trying to keep it straight. And they're saying, it's like they're giving me a reassurance that it's okay to feel like that, to feel out of balance and a little bit out of control in the beginning when I move out of this situation of being a little bit stuck. So I'm just going to thank the records for that beautiful image and metaphor, and I'm going to close the records. And obviously, if you want to spend more time and take time, pause here and come back when you're ready to close your records. So I would like to close by thanking the light for the truth. I would like to close by thanking the light for the healing energy. And I would like to close by thanking the light for the guidance and compassion towards our soul's purpose. And with this, we lock the record of Jamie. And I'm just feeling kind of a release of energy that's going from here up, up, up. It's like a little thin, feathery smoke of energy. Okay, so there was that, and how that came through for me, and just how that key felt, which I've always had, like, it's worked for me since the very first time I used it. I appreciate it so much. I personally feel like, and was guided for someone who read for me, to modify that key for myself. And I will put those modifications in there also for you to consider. But I kind of added a piece to the opening that said to only give me the amount of energy and information that I needed to receive the truth of the message, because I would be in a long reading for someone and just feel completely wiped out, completely drained. So that, for me, made the images a little less vibrant, or like I would have less sensation, but I was already comfortable getting information and I didn't doubt what was coming through. But that really helped my energy, not my personal energy, be overwhelmed by the energy of connecting with the records for a long time. So something for you to consider. It works great for me, especially if you feel like you're getting drained from being in the records and like there's too much energy exchange. So I'll just add that little tidbit for you. I'm going to grab my water, be right back. Second key is a key that I received, which was very different. It was almost like a little poem. And I'm going to go back to Laura Coe for a second, because she is doing a program where she's offering different keys for different things. And they also, to me, felt very simple and very poetic. So I don't know, maybe it's the energy of things changing, or how the records are communicating with us, that they don't need to be like as drawn out or as wordy as they were before. I don't know. I'm just making this up. I have no idea. But it felt like it's kind of going in the same direction. More intention, less words. And so for my key, I was giving that it is very much intention based and less focusing on the words to do the work, to open the records. So with this key, as you're opening the records, imagine energy in your solar plexus area moving up to the heart and out from the hands in all directions. So it's like you're standing or sitting in this sort of T position, and the energy is moving up and out, and the energy just goes out in all directions. So with that imagery and the intention set to open the records, here are the words that I was given. Widen the gap, wander the shore, dive below the surface, float toward your North Star. The body remembers, the mind abides. The records are open to reflect the tides. And here you pause, you can close your eyes and ask internally for a sign that the Akashic Records are open. So I just say simply, please show me something that indicates that the Akashic Records are open. Okay, I will also say, before I even ask a question anymore, usually I get some kind of visual. And I am getting a visual, and it does seem to be indicating that the records are open. And I will also say that every time that I've used this key to open the records, I feel it right in my gut, like my upper gut, right in the solar plexus. It's a density, but it's not heavy. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just feel a density there, but it doesn't feel like a weight. So it just feels like the concentration of something is there instead of in my head. And before we get into this, because someone else who I asked practiced this key for me, you may notice that I did not use a name to open the records, and I just thought, and often I ask, depending on who I'm with and what the question is, I will ask before I even open the records, whose record should I open? And I have gotten an answer every time, and it has worked for me every time. So I'm just going to ask them right now, why, or what needs to be done to assure that the correct records are open, me versus someone else that I'm working with, or a group of people, when I use this key to open the records. Why is no distinct name offered? So I feel that I felt like this little vibration, and again, like a density without being heavy in my lower throat portion, and it's almost like I'm doing this silent hum. They're saying like you're using your inner voice to summon, is the word that I get, to summon the records. And that is also connected to your heart energy. So I feel a line of energy from that inner voice to my upper heart. And then I feel like in my head there's like a radio tower, kind of like this spinning radio receiver that's going around, and it's almost like it's picking up what needs to be picked up. Sorry, can I say that in a better way? Can you please give that to me in a more clear way for people to understand? It's almost like a little bit of this person's record gets dropped in if it needs to, a little bit of this person's record. It's almost like, depending on you and your intention and who you're with or what you're asking, it's sort of, the records are, you're gathering the information that needs to be gathered from wherever it needs to be gathered, and it's it's giving me like less tunnel vision, like a broader a broader range of information can come in versus like this very, you're getting like a very pinpointed bright light. Like if you just open one person's record, you're like, okay, I'm very focused in this person's record, this one light. And they're kind of saying like, but actually, you know, a little bit of light from over here might be helpful, and a little bit of light from over here might be helpful. And so, okay. I'm also getting like this helps even to bring more multi-dimensional records in. Is that the right word for it? We're doing this in real time, folks, so thank you for your patience. And whatever you're getting, like I hope that you're asking about this as well and seeing what you're getting and trusting that what you're getting and what I'm getting may not completely correlate, and I want to know what you get. I don't have all the answers. I have the answers that I need for me in this moment, right? And that does not mean that those are the same answers that you need for you in this moment. Or that you don't have another piece of the puzzle that makes my piece of the puzzle even more relevant and paints this much broader scope, this bigger picture. Okay, I'm going back. Is multidimensional space the right word? Yes. Yes. I'm just seeing like what they're showing me is kind of like this dark, stormy cloud, and one person's records open is like one very strong, bright beam of light coming down, and with other information being able to come in, it's like this tiny pinpointed light coming in here and here and here and all over the place, and so you get a much bigger plane of information that comes in, just a little bit that's needed from here and here and here and here. So it doesn't have to be all in a single person's records. It can come from other places and sources if it's relevant. Is that right? You're saying, yeah, if it's in the same sort of frequency, if it's in frequency with what's needed to be known in the moment. Okay, now I feel like I'm kind of getting a headache thinking about that. It's almost like it would be really hard for my brain to fully understand what it all means. So that feels like a simplified version. So we're going to go with that. And I'm going to ask my question here. What is in my highest good for me to know today to move forward on my soul's path? So they're showing me walking along in about, I don't know, I'll say a foot of water, and I have a bucket, and I'm like trying to move the water out of my way. So it's like I'll scoop the bucket and splash it over this side, and then scoop it here and splash it over this side, like trying to get the water off of my path, but it seems very pointless because I'm standing in, this foot deep water, and I'm scooping up water, and then I'm just throwing it back into the same tub of water, whatever I'm standing in. I'm not moving it out of the water that I'm standing in. I'm just moving it from this place and putting it over there. Okay, so what does this mean for me? It's like I feel like I'm doing stuff, but I'm not really doing stuff. Okay, so then I'm going to ask, what can I do that would be a better use of my energy? What would that look like? Okay, now they're showing me like instead of concentrating on this water that I'm walking through and being so concerned about being in the muck of it, I actually stand up straight and get a different perspective and can see if I just walk a little bit farther, I'm out of this, gray, dingy water, and the path goes up a little hill, and I'm in this field again, like this grassiness on the side of this cobblestone path, and I am out of the water. I'm out of the muck of it. Okay, so what is this different perspective? What do I need to do to achieve this different perspective? Because they're kind of giving me an example of like what would it actually feel like in my body to stand up straight and just, it's that feeling of like if you're bending down for a long time and doing something and you stand up straight, you have to go kind of slow because you're already getting a little stiff from being in that position, and you just take a deep breath and roll your shoulders back and you pause. And you readjust your eyes to what's in front of you and not what you've been focusing on. What else is in this? I feel like there's a piece missing, and almost like my brain is saying, well, that's too easy, but what does that actually look like? What does standing up and stretching and taking this pause practically look like? They're showing me like writing stuff down on paper, literally what I want to see and experience. They're saying like write your fantasy novel. Even if it doesn't feel that fantastical, or even if like you want it to go like completely fantastical, but write down the experiences that I would like to have. For one, that puts my mindset into this like more forward, wider view and gives me more options of like how would I get to, say I write down 3 experiences, what would I need to do to experience all 3 of these? What would I like physically need to get there? And it feels like it opens up different avenues for me to be able to get ideas to move forward. I'm also feeling a peacefulness in my heart area again, and it's like giving me this idea that I would be at peace, that I'm standing in a foot of water and not at those places yet, but also that I have this new perspective and can see further along the horizon and can see that like this water, this muck that I'm walking through doesn't last very long. I just want to say, because it popped up, my timer on my phone said 3747 when I said that, which it could be 3 sevens if you looked at the math a little differently, and I've been getting 7s a lot lately. So a new perspective is important for me. Okay, so I know we're going to keep it short again, and I'm just going to see if there's anything else that they want to let me know about this new perspective, and then I will close. Okay, sorry, I got interrupted anyway. So if there's anything else that is important for me to know right now about this new perspective, different perspective. Here's the dog. The dog just brought me a toy, and so I'm just going to take that as a sign to go play more, which is what they keep telling me over and over again. So, no, tie-dye, leave it, leave it, leave it, no. Okay, I'm going to close. So to close this key, you just imagine a door, bringing the energy back and closing a door sort of over the heart. Bring the energy back into you. It's kind of how I feel. So you pull the energy back in, and the words are, I seal the records closed. And when I do that, I just feel a lightness, and like there's no real sensation in my body, like the energy of the records has left the building. Has left my temple, my physical temple. Okay, so I have one more key to use. This key is one that was given to my friend Emmy. So her opening. With our hearts, we open ourselves to the light and the wisdom of the Akashic Records. And as we open our hearts to the light and wisdom of the Akashic Records, so too do we open ourselves towards our own light that is held within us. And with these words, the Akashic Records are now open. So what I am feeling and sort of seeing with these records open is almost like that beam of light that I described before, which is just like a very pinpointed beam of light coming down through me, and I feel the sensation actually kind of in my upper thighs. So it feels like another more grounded, body-based key. But overall, I feel mostly relaxed. Oh, and I don't know if you noticed, my head just kind of like moved itself to the left, and when that happens, my body is aligning itself to a different frequency. That's what I think anyway. Okay, so I feel like there's just like this energy sort of, it's almost like an empty energy feeling in my stomach and solar plexus area of just like a pause, or like a crystal ball, like waiting for the question to come. So I'm going to ask my question. What is in my highest good for me to know today to move forward on my soul's path? And I am sort of immediately getting this feeling of something attaching to the back of my upper shoulders and head and kind of like pulling me back up. Kind of like a being sort of like attached to an amusement ride, but I'm being pulled up and back. Okay, now it's now it's sort of giving me like this I don't know what, I can't remember what they're called. The big, huge walking machines in Star Wars. They kind of look like an animal with the super long legs. But it's like I'm being pulled up there to get, again, they're reiterating a higher perspective. Why the sensation of being pulled backwards? it's almost like they're saying, like, this is the area that is stable. Like, the attachment here is stable and connected to soul energy, like through the back of my heart and like upper back and then the back of my head. It feels like it's a stabilizing connection. It's the best way I can describe it. And it also like lets my arms and my legs be able to move free. So that I still feel unrestrained. I'm gonna fix that. There, that's better. Okay. Okay, sorry, adjusting. Okay, what is important about this perspective again? I'm gonna say, like, this key, like being in the records this way feels a little bit more open, like I'm having to be much more specific about giving it directions of, feels like it's harder for the information for me personally just to come to me. I'm going to ask why that is. It's still giving me the sensation of being in a crystal ball, just being in this place of waiting space. Feels very patient. There's no rush. But without some kind of force or direction, it's just going to keep waiting. That it's less likely for information to flow without having a direction apply, or a force or direction or intention applied to it. I just had the idea of, like, is it more galactic, and is this more galactic connected? I'm not getting that it's more galactic connected, but it's more of an open space. Again, less like that pinpointed light with the first key where I'm opening this person's records and it's very focused and everything else around it is kind of shut out. Okay, so I'm going to go back and see what I need to ask now to give me more information about my original question of moving on my soul's path. Now it's giving me the visual of me being in this sort of, like, I'm attached, and it did feel like a bungee attachment, very springy, not solid from the beginning, but now they're giving me more of the image of that being a bungee attachment so that I can sort of take a step on the ground and boing, bounce up, and makes me feel much lighter and much more able to cover more ground when I do take a step. So it's like I take one step and I bounce up, and then I take another step and I'm way farther along than I would normally be if I were just taking normal steps along the ground. By coming from this higher perspective. What is this higher perspective? How do I get there? Now they're giving me the sensation, the visual of being in a train tunnel, and I see the train ahead of me and the light shining towards me. And I keep going back and forth in my mind, is that a train coming at me, or should I back out of this, or should I go forward? Is it actually just the end of the tunnel down there that looks like a train coming, and that's actually the way out of the tunnel? So they're kind of saying, see how you can be in one place and have two different perspectives and want to take two different actions, because obviously if it's a train in the tunnel, I'm going to want to back up and get the heck out of that tunnel, not get run over by a train. But if it's the end of the tunnel and there's light on the other side, I'm going to want to move forward and get out of the tunnel and go experience my freedom. So how do I know? What can you tell me about these two perspectives and where I'm at? They're saying, what if you think you're in the tunnel with the train and you flip it over to think? It's almost like giving your mind a trick, playing a trick on your mind to say, and then bring me back to the other reading I just did about standing in the puddle of water, or that shallow water, of instead of thinking I'm stuck in the mud, what is the opposite perspective of that? They're giving me, it can be something really absurd as like, wow, my feet are never gonna feel so great as this amazing mud bath they're currently standing in, and seeing it as a gift in some way instead of being stuck. And they're giving me the idea that by changing my perspective, it's like if I decide that it is the light at the end of the tunnel, that's what it turns into. So my outlook on what it is actually affects what and where I'm at. So if I think that I'm in this mud bath that's of benefit to me and creating some kind of wellness for myself or my body in this moment, it won't feel like I'm stuck. And it will change my perspective and bring in actual gratitude and appreciation for the time that I've been stuck in the mud. Okay, to keep it short, I'm just going to ask if there's anything else they would like me to know, the guides of the records. And now they're taking one of those chimes that it's in an orchestra that hangs down on the strings, and you play the chimes. Sorry, words are so hard. Okay, they're doing that in my head. What does that mean? Feel free to chime in at any time. Okay, what does that mean? It feels like an invitation to speak up and be clear about my communication, or saying things that I want to say in the moment. To not hold back. They're saying that I have experienced examples of this recently that has been to my benefit to keep doing that. I'm just going to say this key feels much more, it's less visual and more like these information packets that drop in. So some people call them like downloads. but it's like a chunk of like they'll give me a little visual and then a chunk of information will come in. And so, but it's taking me time to get that information, and I really have to sit with it. So this key has been a little bit harder for me to work with right off the bat. I'll just say it just is not coming as intuitively to me as some other keys have. I'm just asking the question, like, why is that specifically for me? They're saying my energy center is more up here. So my energy center in the body and where I'm receiving information connects more here. And so this feels like it connects into the body, like that sensation I was getting at the beginning, like it goes down a little lower. And so it feels like it's actually a different resonance in the body that where I'm not used to communicating from, or like a longer, bigger space within the body. But it feels like something in the body. It feels like something to do with, my actual body and where I receive messages and information and where I process them. Feels like it's not used to where the communication comes in for this key. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's okay. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, and now I'm going to close these records. With these words, we give gratitude to the Akashic Records and the Akashic Light and the light within. With these words, the Akashic Records are now closed. And at the end, I sort of just I'm feeling like a little bit of like a very light headachy feeling in my head, and I don't know if it's from opening the records 3 different ways in this short amount of time, or if it's something else. So how are you guys feeling? How are you feeling? Please let me know. Yeah, I like that experiment, and I also liked how each like opening session, each different key connected to in some way to the other parts of the messages I received, which is often the case. As far as like being able to connect information together. Okay, I feel like I'm at a loss for words right now, so I'm just going to say thank you for trying this with me. If you did, I really appreciate it, and I would love to hear your experience. So I hope to see you again soon. Okay, bye.